Hey, JJ here, and this is the Lens of Truth podcast where we play through the oldies and modern goldies to give you our opinion. Nearly 100 years of gaming between all of us, we see how well these games hold up in our eyes. With me today, we have...
It's your boy, ATI.
And Zerovii.
And we are talking about Silent Hill F. A beautiful, dark, tragic, relatable horror game. How did you all feel about this, friends?
This was a roller coaster of a ride. When we had like 15, 20 years, I don't know how long it's been since Silent Hill Shattered Memories. I consider that the last Silent Hill that left an impression on me. When it's been that long and there's been like filler entries in between, I was so trepidatious about playing this. You recommended it to us last week and you were like, let's give this a shot. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to be very fair to this. It's going to be a journey together. We are not going to suffer alone. And at the start, I really did not know what to expect. I didn't know if it was going to be schlock. I didn't know if it could carry itself. But man, this turned into something special. I tell you what, we will dig into that. But Zero, what did you feel about this?
Well, let me preface by saying I have not played a Silent Hill game before. So
Ooh.
the first one I get to pick up being the one by, let me see if I get his name right, Ryukishi
This woke-ass game.
of Umineko fame is sure an interesting entry to start in on. And probably will color my perception of the rest of the series much differently than the people who started earlier and got to this point.
I have to ask real quick, did you play/read Umineko?
I did not actually. That's also another
Okay.
thing on my to-do list.
Gotcha.
That is
I was just checking if anyone here was
memes.
familiar.
As a visual novel nerd, that is one of my blind spots. It's been recommended to me, but I'm still fighting in the Last Defense Academy minds, bro. And then I got Ever 17, and Stella the. I have so many backlogged games because of Last Defense Academy, but that is on my top list. Like, it's close, especially after Silent Hill F. Did you play the remake of 2? Like, either of you guys?
I did not know.
I did not. It's been on my list. It's one of those ones where I wasn't sure if I needed to because I have such a special memory of 2, but it looks like it's different enough where it's probably worth it.
I would relate it to Silent Hill 2, top tier god game, Kamiki, just amazing. The remake really does it justice. I will say it's on the level of a Resident Evil remake, how that game mastered the game that it was remaking. I really do feel like Silent Hill 2 remake does a great job, and that's kind of why I was optimistic about F. I was like, you can't get the remake right and then drop the ball on a new entry. There has to be something special here. So that's why I kind of pushed it a little bit, saying let's give this a try. The $70 price tag I was asking a lot, but
it was a big ask. But again, we are in as of this recording, we're in spooky month October. We had to play a spooky game.
It's a new Silent Hill.
When do you get a new drop like this and get to experience it together? It's even if it turned out to be cruddy, it would have been a group experience. It would have been a monumental release. Again, what you said about Silent Hill 2, the fact that they pulled it off gave me a little bit more hope in this, because recapturing something that is so embellic of just being in the moment as Silent Hill 2 was, and you just can't reduce that game to a formula and have it work. And for them to come back and hit it out of the park again, they got my trust now.
Yeah, I'm all in. There's 3 other Silent Hill games in the works, apparently. I think some leaks happened a few days ago.
Wow, I had no idea.
Yeah, Silent Hill 1, I believe, is all but confirmed to be remade. And then there's a project called Silent Hill H, which people are thinking is Heather, so a Silent Hill 3 remake. And then maybe a new entry, kind of the pattern that they were doing with Silent Hill 2 remake, F, 1 remake, new game, hey, you got to milk that cow. But if they keep the quality up, I have nothing against it. Resident Evil remakes stand on their own. They're brilliant games. Even 3, fuck the haters. You can speedrun that game in like 30 minutes. It always was short. I know they cut stuff out. I still think it's a fine game, but I digress. Yeah, so let's start with the basics of Silent
Yeah,
Hill F.
let's really unwind this. Let's maybe start with something that is one of the first things you engage with in any video game, the gameplay itself. Because this felt like what Resident Evil 4 remake was to Resident Evil games, or like
I can
Resident Evil
see that.
4 kind of like the old Silent Hills, like you're clunky, you're gonna be like not good at combat. That kind of stuff carries over, but it's got modern game sensibility and stuff. Like you can tell it's got the inspiration from Souls. You got your stamina meter, you got your little like magic bar. Um, it's got all these little like dodge movements and little things that make it like a modern action game while still making you feel like the character okay, we have to address the elephant in the room. She dodges like a goddamn ninja. It's fine. It's an action game. It works as a good playing video game.
Got the
It
bullet
costs a lot of
time.
stamina. I'll allow it.
She is a track runner. You
Yeah,
gotta
I was gonna
remember.
say they justified that by saying, "Oh yeah, she's on the track. Don't worry about it." So she's really fast.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people originally, when this game came out a week ago or whatever, were saying like, "Oh, I can't get past like the combat," and it's like, yeah, it does lend to a different experience. Like as you said earlier, we are used to the slow, clunky, plodding, lumbering like feel of a Silent Hill game, but I think the way this game added the limitations, like you have a stamina meter, you have a sanity meter, you have like all these things that
Weapon
kind of,
durability.
yeah, it really makes you like still kind of take your time, and like you do kind of like, if you're using a heavy weapon, it still does feel lumbering. I think near the end of the game I started just using the quick weapons because it didn't really feel like useful to just swing that axe when I could kill like an enemy with the kitchen knife and just repair it and they keep slashing. So like there is still some of that like slowness, and if you miss your dodge, you're wide open, you're just getting
Oh,
chopped up.
you really have to pick your actions like deliberately. If you whiff, you have a goddamn year of recovery. Like
Mhm.
everything you do has so much recovery that it's like you better intend what you're doing. And I think that really lends itself to
It
a
does.
horror game. I think it really
It's
works.
actually perfect.
Yeah, and it's like you don't need to conform to old video game standards of like when Silent Hill 1 came out, because like you want modern gamers and people to be like, okay, this feels like a video game, and like you do video gamey things, but it's you just have limitations on them instead of like, okay, there's no cooldown, so I can go from I can feint my swing into a dodge, into a bullet time, into a whatever, like Dante Devil May Cry type stuff. Like it's not that. It really is more Souls, but like imagine Souls, but every time you swing or dodge, there's like infinite more times for the
Mhm.
enemies to have an opening on you.
Yeah, like the stamina meter really brings all of this together, because even after you dodge and then you attack, if you don't have any stamina left, you're not dodging, and
Yeah, and you
it,
got to judge if that attack is going to kill the enemy, or
yeah,
are you going to just be like standing there with your thumb up your ass after that swing?
is it worth it to attack? Like it actually made a lot of battles and encounters tense, because I would think I was doing good. I'd dodge and I'd hit, and then I'm like, oh wait, I can't dodge again, and then you get wombo combo to death. I saw, yeah, I think this is the perfect blend of everything that like came before it in terms of, you know, what they wanted to lead up to. Because Silent Hill 2 remake was a little still kind of old school, but it did have like some modern conventions. But I think whatever they did with this just is chef's kiss. Like I can't complain. It's kind of like you said. It's like with Resident Evil 4. Like we have to ask ourselves, like, what is a Silent Hill? You know, there's all these like different types of games. This is a what, a 30-year-old series at this point. You've
Something
got
like that.
you've got all these different ways. Silent Hill 4 was completely different. Shattered Memories was like Clock Tower. You didn't really fight. You were just running for your life.
Yeah.
So to pigeonhole this long-standing series with already all these flavors of, combat and gameplay, I think it's silly that people go online and just endlessly complain about this. Just doesn't feel like a Silent Hill. No, it does. Like the whole time I'm running
Yeah,
through that
and
town.
like just to quickly circle back to Resident Evil 4, like that's exactly the discourse that game had when it came out. It was like, this isn't Resident Evil, like it's too actiony, blah blah blah.
Mhm. And then they pulled it
It's just
together with that. They did go off the deep end a little bit with 5 and 6, but those are different
Yeah, we
games.
don't need
It's
to
a
talk about
different.
that. Yeah, it's a
They're
different game.
co-op. It's a different
Yeah.
expectation.
Zero, you said that you did not beat. How far did you get into the game? I want to hear your
I
impressions of how you thought the combat was, because I know I had certain feelings early on that changed later on. I started to become more tolerant and more in love with the combat the more I played the game. At first, I wasn't really sold on it.
honestly I was kind of sold on it out the gate, but the first thing I did when the game even let me pick up a pipe, and actually before I even got to pick up a pipe, when the first enemy like runs at you and he's like, "All right, here's your dodging tutorial." I just sat there and like died 8 times trying to figure
Yeah.
out the perfect dodge windows for everything. And that's when I realized the game has the same boilerplate. Hey, you died like 3 times. You want to turn on the difficulty slider? And I was like, don't
Easy mode
patronize
is
you,
now
video game.
selectable.
Like, don't patronize you, video game. But
It's
yeah,
all
no,
right.
I
We
was
all got
pretty
that
sold on it from the
option.
beginning.
There's a lot of death in this game. Like, don't let anyone fool you. You're gonna die a lot.
Yeah, I wasn't ashamed in the slightest. I was like, really, we're gonna bring that up already? I'm just trying to practice perfect dodges, bro.
And it very much is a trial and error thing. It's very nice how unpunishing this game is with your deaths. You are allowed to retry sections, relearn enemy patterns. A lot of the difficulty in navigating areas and terrain is not knowing the layout of enemies. You can easily get surrounded or surprised. So if you die and then you go back through an area, you're like, okay, I saw this one attack by the enemy before. I know how to dodge it now. I know how to wait for their one attack that's counterable. Yeah, so enemies flash. They have certain attacks where they flash, and it lets you press R2 to counter. It like puts them in a stagger state. You do more damage. It's the juicy good stuff. That's the action game stuff you're coming here for. You hit that, you feel great. There's a little sound effect. It's like everything comes together as soon as you hit those beefy counters on these guys.
It feels so good, especially when you start equipping like the charms where you get like health back for the perfect dodge, and
Mm.
it all just feels, or the counter or whatever. It just feels great. Like again, yeah. So we could talk about the charms too, because that is part of the battle system. Like the Omamaris,
Yes.
like that just adds again so much flavor to this system. Yeah, like it's minimal, but at the same time, in a game where resources are, limited with whether it's health or sanity,
Mm.
pulling off the perfect, counter just to regain some health, or after you kill an enemy, and or just even picking up items to regain those valuable resources. Like, it's brilliant. Like I never thought I would say it for in terms of a Silent Hill game, but like it's really really good like action game. Like
Yeah, it's like
It is.
one of my favorite newly released action games in a while, which is very funny. When
absolutely.
I first started playing, I was like colored by the impression of like, man, another Souls, like Souls have done so much damage to this world. Everything just wants to be like that, blah blah blah. And like I was so down on it for like the first hour because I'm like, I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know they had game. It could have easily just been like trend chasing slop, but
Oh
it was
yeah.
so everything is so well made that I'm just like, all right, I'm sorry, I didn't recognize your game at first. I apologize.
Well, it did take a bit to get there in that first section because I was like, oh, okay, we're learning dodging. All right. Okay, now I got a pipe. Now I can actually
Mm.
attack things. Now I'm expecting to see the stagger meter pop up, and then, oh shit, there's no stagger meter. Oh shit, there's originality.
Yeah,
Oh
and
shit! I
you
get
don't
to
know what
offer
to
up
expect
items
at
for
first.
Faith to pull for more Amoris.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's a lot of options you get too. Like the items you pick up, you can either use them, sell them at the shrine. You can focus more on using your slowdown focus mode. You can not do that and use different Omemoris that like focus on increasing damage on high durability weapons. You can go all in on life leech Omemoris like I did. So like whenever
same.
you kill an enemy, you gain health. Whenever you counter an enemy, you gain health. Whenever you kill an enemy, you gain sanity. Just like constantly giving that juice back so you don't need the items. You could play like that, or you could build your character a little differently. Go for like more attack up stuff or whatever. So
Yeah, the perfect
nice little bit of
dodges.
options.
The perfect dodges restoring your stamina too is just like it
Yes.
feels good. Like
It rewards you for learning the enemies too.
mhm, for being patient and taking your because you could be swinging and then you just get comboed to death because you're out of stamina. But it's like if you wait and take your time, like genuinely, it sounds so cliche, but like if I was in this situation, I feel like the way Hinako like operates and plays is like exactly how I would do it. Like I would be on my guard. I'd have my crowbar out. I wouldn't be like swinging crazy. I'd be like
Mm.
stern and I'd be waiting because like if I mess up, I'm dead. And
Yeah, you see an opening and
go for it. Take it to the moon. Otherwise, you're done. But yeah, it just blew me away. It's not something I expected out of this, and I feel bad for people that can't enjoy it just because it's a Silent Hill game. Because everything else in terms of Silent Hill is there. That dark
yeah.
atmosphere, that isolated town, the mystery of going between both worlds and trying to figure out the symbolism and what it means. Like it's all there, and it does it so well. I've played pretty much all of them. I think I didn't play Homecoming. I couldn't get it to work on my PC on Steam or whatever, whether
Mm.
it's Origins or Homecoming. I played pretty much all of them. And oh man, I don't know if it's the honeymoon effect, but this one's right up there with two for me. Mainly,
Let's touch on just what makes Silent Hill then I guess.
mm,
I'll finish your thought first. I just want to get into it because it seems to be a point of contention.
yeah, no, absolutely. I was just saying, everything that this game is, it hits home. It like for me personally, like the themes of the game, the time period is just like
Mm.
it's so oddly cozy, but like also like foreign. But
Yeah,
and
it's
then
very insulated because it's all taking place in this 1960s town. It's like the people who live in that town, that's their entire life. They're not like commuting somewhere else. This is like they grew up together, they know each other, and like we don't get a full picture of their lives, but you feel like you knew all these characters that they get introduced to you. So we'll get
yeah,
into the characters in a little bit,
I
but
might as well have grown up in that town, that Silent Hill. But yeah, like
Mhm.
what makes a Silent Hill? Like it's a good question because a lot of people seem to have different opinions and pigeonhole their experience into one little thing. But
Yeah, I want to ask actually, Zero, you said that you have not played a Silent Hill before this. In your mind, when you think of the series, is there like any trademark traits? What comes to mind that defines this for you?
I think it's gonna be a lot of just like what Silent Hill 1 and 2 did. Foggy town, clunky controls, bad camera angles, not to the fault, not maybe part of the sauce, but kind of part of the sauce. And just like grotesque horrors. So like to me this game pretty much hit the mark. So I don't know
Mm,
what to expect from these other games and what makes them Silent Hill and this not Silent Hill.
mm. I think that's one of the funniest parts is people like have the idea of like the games need to feel bad to
Yeah.
play and like they
Well,
need to look bad, like not look
to,
bad, like they're beautiful games, but like just like awkward parts. Which is true in some parts because a lot of it is meant to be like a dreamlike or nightmarish or like not quite realistic and a bit fantastic. Uh,
right. I mean even on design convention side, horror games are supposed to make you feel clumsy and not fully in control because that's how you keep the game scary.
I
If you're
think that
fully
goes
in control
back.
like it's Metal Gear Rising, then what are you scared of?
But I think that goes back to everything we were just talking about with the combat. Like it functions really well, but you still have that, like, those tense moments. You're still very scared. You're still like trying to survive and run away and not get ambushed. Like, everything functions well and works great, like, design wise, and yet it still manages to, like, just be this terrifying experience where you're kind of on the edge of your seat, just trying to survive every dodge. If you don't get a perfect dodge, every dodge you're just like, oh, get off my back. Oh, I'm out of
You
stamina.
dodge
Oh.
wrong once, and then you get hit by an enemy, and then you're in like damage recovery, and then another enemy's behind you, and you're just dead because you got chained by like 3 different hits, and you can't act. And it's like, all right, that's fair.
Yeah. So
Um,
building off what Zero said, that's why I think this game is like oh, chef's kiss, because it captures all of that stuff that you would want out of a horror game to, like, feel
But
clunky.
at the same time, this is the best feeling Silent Hill game I have ever played.
Oh, easy.
And it's totally not like, oh, well, you abandoned what the series is to make these gameplay concessions. No, you didn't, because the thematics of this game totally support the gameplay being what it is too. And the more you play and discover of like this character and everything, it's like, oh yeah, she actually is she should be doing all this. I feel like a badass. I eventually started feeling more and more like I was a hunter as the game went on. We'll get into that plot wise as we talk more about this, but like it just felt like it made sense. Everything was just like, man, this is all in place for a reason. Good shit, devs. Everything is very cohesive here.
Yeah, it's not very often a horror game makes me actually want to do the combat, and I have to stop myself because of resources.
Mhm.
Usually, like the want to horde kicks into my brain a lot sooner. Whereas in this game, I'm like, I actually want to fight shit.
And you can outskill a lot of stuff. And old horror games, it's just like you have to run along a certain perimeter and like just dodge enemies. But here it's like you can take things on if you're a bad enough motherfucker.
I'm reminded of JJ's Resident Evil knife only runs.
One-handed, by the way. One-handed, by the
One-handed.
way.
I'm not doing one-handed. I'm sorry, I need 2 hands. I'm not that godly.
Now you got a one-handed Wiimote knife only run.
Swing it around. But yeah, let's start getting into the characters and kind of, the setting and everything that this kind of game, because it opens up and it kind of just goes right out the gate. I feel like it kind of just starts revving its engines right as you go.
Mhm. Which was another thing. Again, like starting this game, the first hour, I was giving it the credit it deserved. I feel like when I go back to revisit this, I'm going to see everything in a new light. After the clear, like you're going to see new things anyway, but like right away, it felt a little bit like, okay, are we just doing like anime, like melodrama here? Is it going to turn into anything real? We start with this character, Hinako, Shimizu Hinako. She's your main character. She's who you play as. You get to know her very well. It starts off with her talking to her doll, and then her sister comes over and she talks to her about. Do you remember what she was talking about?
Oh, I genuinely can't remember.
It's just one of those things I have to revisit. I it's blanking on me, but she talks to her sister, and like then she talks to her school friends, Shu, Rinko, and Sakuko, who she grew up with. They were all her best friends.
Yeah, and as it goes on, you just start seeing like little cracks in the armor between them. Their relationships quickly, I feel like, you start seeing that they may be good friends, but not everyone always has the best intentions. And it kind of starts building off of that and taking you to all these kind of crazy places where you're just like, oh, I didn't expect that. I thought they were pals. I thought they were besties, and then you just kind of go down this dark little rabbit hole, and I loved it. The town too. It's this post-war Japan. It's 1960s. There's all these pills all around. People are addicted. Like I don't know. I couldn't get that clear. Like, were the pills like just that? Those weren't like manifestations of Hinako, right? Like,
So This game, I feel that one of its strengths is its ambiguousness in a lot of its facets. That's one of its core themes, actually, because there's multiple times when Hinako brings up, like, if only I could like split myself into two and I could like live out things both at the same time. And it's a lot of dualism, a lot of Jungian philosophy of like the inner self and the search for the truth and whatever. Um, so it's not really clear on a lot of, or there's like double meanings to things. Sometimes it's like, is the pill real? Maybe if it is, then it drives her to do this, and if it's not real, then it's a metaphor for her wanting control again because it helps calm her, or like the pill was made from a flower that Shu gave her, so it's
Yeah.
like
It was making me
there's so
wonder.
many angles.
Like I was wondering, like was you just like leaving those all around town, or is like the whole town addicted to this like substance, like where it's like it's just a problem? I guess I'd lean more towards just like Shu might maybe be just leaving them around because you do find out his intentions later. That's in I believe New Game Plus or Plus Plus. Which we'll get into. There will be some there'll be a lot of spoilers. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Like if you're going into this and you haven't really played it, other than the
We're gonna be
hosts,
digging in.
yeah, we're gonna be spoiling just because I think it's just so brilliant. It's the narrative is just so strong, and I do wish they didn't make you play through it like twice to really get that like full scoop. But at the same
I
time,
feel like twice is fair,
yeah,
but like
100%.
there's 4 extra endings, and I'm like, I ended up YouTubing them. I'm sorry, Silent
Yeah,
Hill team.
I
It's a
did
bit
too.
much for me.
See, my problem is I love Silent Hill, but it is such an emotionally draining experience for me that I don't often replay them. Like these games I love. And I think I've said this on the past podcast, but it's like Majora's Mask, Dark Souls, Silent Hill 2 and 3. Like they're just so draining emotionally. Like hearing those demon noises and seeing those visuals, and like I don't get desensitized to it. It genuinely puts me in like a different place, and that's why I love them. But it's a special occasion. It's a fine wine. Mega Man, I'll bust through it in an afternoon on my break.
He's a smiley little guy.
Yeah.
Even the robot masters are all smiley little guys.
They're happy. Any other Zelda, I'll run through it. It's fine. But you put me in like a world-ending event where everyone's just even Silk Song. Like I'm not going to be replaying that anytime soon. It's just so draining
dismal,
to my senses.
It's very much like everyone is like hopelessness, despair.
Yes, those themes.
I mean,
isolation.
Silent Hill especially is like its entire MO is like being the personification of like negative feelings and retribution and grudges and all of this.
And I relate to a lot of these things because, like, again, going into Jungian stuff, like there's that shadow, that aspect of all of us, and the more you're aware of it, and the more you embrace it and accept it as a part of you, the harder it is to like want to just like dip your feet into that world so casually, because it does leave an immense like impression on me. And yeah,
it was
I've been
a bit
messed
like
up
a
for a week.
blossoming. Yeah, it's a bit like a blossoming of a spider lily flower.
A little
that
bit
symbolizes blah blah blah.
Go on, Zero.
I will say, maybe touching on the themes of the game a bit, I did see a quote here that the team decided to create this game as a 100% Japanese horror, emphasizing its Japanese essence, which they regarded as central to the series, which is very interesting to me because maybe I just didn't get that impression from the little surface knowledge I have of the other 2 or 3 games.
I think what's important is the like Japanese takeaway of American culture, and that's what made it like a special feeling. Maybe that's what they're referring to.
Maybe like to me, like I only got the first boss and beat it, and like that was the whole section. The draining part's completely true because I definitely don't want to do the second part of that boss anytime soon again.
Yeah,
was that the
great section though? Fantastic section.
Was that the big blob guy?
Was the big
the sickle guy
as you go around all the the carts with the little charms on them, and you're finding the charms to get the code to get into the shrine.
Oh, that's right. Okay, you got the little faceless guy chasing you around. So a little bit of a spoiler. He does become a regular enemy later. Fun
I
stuff.
figured because they
Nemesis.
immediately threw like 3 of him at me right at the end
Mm.
there, and I was like, you can definitely be beaten as a normal enemy because I dodged like 3 of them at once. And I was like, oh, okay. But also, I couldn't deal with the pounding headaches and red fog going on at the same time.
It's so draining. Oh,
The sensory overload really is effective. It makes you feel so many things. The graphical fidelity of just all of this is amazing. I can't get over how good this game
the
looks,
voice acting.
sounds like. Yeah, the voice. I don't know if you
I
guys played in Japanese, but like I keep saying shit over and over now.
Shit.
Shit.
Yeah, it seems like the general consensus is most people played in Japanese. Yeah, the game even defaults to it. I
It feels like
went,
sacrilege not to, but I know that you go against the grain.
yeah, and because I like the voice actors. Hinako is Suzy Young Yang. I don't even remember her name. I don't have it in front of me.
Do you know what she was in? Because she
Susie
sounded
Young.
Yeah,
very familiar.
she's Yuffie from Rebirth, and
Duh.
yeah,
Okay,
and
yeah,
she's
yeah,
in
yeah,
a bunch of
yeah.
other stuff too. Like I love her voice. I love her. I loved her as Yuffie, like in that game. Just she knocked it out of the park. And I kind of like I wanted to see how well the English voice actors did because apparently the Japanese voice actors killed it. Like they nailed it.
It was incredible. It was literally movie tier. I was so blown away by the Japanese voice actors' quality. Tell me about how you liked the English overall, aside from the main character.
Yeah, no, everyone's was great. Shu was like this.
Shit.
His performance was great. Like he someone posted that gif about Shu where it's like anytime monsters are around, Shu, like the guy who gives the peace sign and he like fades away.
Oh, like
Like
Tuxedo Mask from Sailor Moon. He's like, my job here is done. Sailor
so
Moon's
like
like, but you haven't done anything. And he's like, whoosh, he
yeah,
vanishes.
it's pretty much it. Like Shu is like this like kind of stoic, disassociated, like kind of guy, and he was just like, yeah, he calls you your partner, but like anytime you really do need him, he's not, somewhere to be found. The parents, they were really good. The anger in the voice of the dad and the mom, like the meekness of the mom, like it all was solid. They all of them really nailed it. The Foxman, like his just kind of calm, gentle demeanor. I'll take you.
Mm.
Really good. So yeah, I think they again another thing they just absolutely nailed was just the voice acting on both sides.
It's so important too because that's like your primary interfacing to get like invested in this game is going to be the characters and their struggle. So if they didn't sell that, it would not have landed as well. So that's awesome to hear that the English had a good job with the dub.
Yeah, they knocked it out of the park on both ends.
And it's funny, real quick, what you said about Shu, him being like distant and kind of like unreachable. It's like you see these little character traits in the beginning, and it's like, oh, you think that this character are just like that, and it's annoying. But it all pays off. It all leads to something. It's all like saying something about their relation to Hinako and how they get like Shu was like starting to not be accessible to her after a certain point in life. They grew up together every time, all the time. Like roles did not apply to Shu and Hinako. When they grew up, it was like they were always together, and then they got to a certain age where it's like, oh, didn't you know that boys and girls can't be playing together like that anymore? And there's like this societal pressure from everyone around them to like it kind of distance themselves and be like, oh, but does Shu appreciate your feelings as a woman and like kind of stuff? Like everyone around them wanted them to be a certain way, but Shu and Hinako were just like, no, we just want to be friends and play Space Wars.
Mhm. And that was one of the many points of that I personally like felt attached to these characters because growing up I always had like a female friend and we would like play basketball or like I'd play house with them. Like gender roles in my mind never really existed. Like like I grew up with brothers and cousins that were like, I'm listening to Korn and I'm like gonna blow stuff up and light shit on fire. And I was always the odd man out where I'm just like, I'm gonna go like read a book or I'm gonna go hang out with my female cousin or I'm gonna like play with my action figures alone and build VHS forts and crash the VHS forts with like with Beanie Baby monsters. Like I was always into this like, you know, isolated kind of not isolated, but I always went to the beat of my own drum. And like, you know, I played, like I said, I would play basketball with the neighbor who was a girl. And then it was just, I really felt Hinako and Shu's kind of like relationship.
Yeah, and like getting to that one age where it's like it changes. I mean, I had the same thing too. I grew up with my neighbors who like since I was 5 years old, I would there was a brother and sister combo. The sister, I like taught her how to read. The brother, like we'd all play video games together. We would like reenact plays in their basement. We like filmed our own version of like West Side Story and stuff, and like using like blankets and chairs as props. And like we did Little Shop of Horrors where like the plant monster was just like a bunch of chairs with a big blanket on it, and someone was moving the arms inside. And like we made our own little things, and like
Love it.
it was just everything. Like it didn't matter, and like it didn't matter who was boy, who was girl. It's like I hung out with my sister and her friends, whatever. And then you get to a certain age, it's like, okay, well, everyone is saying boys do this, girls do that, and you're not allowed to this and that, and it's like the conflict and struggle after that.
Yeah, everyone's like, "Do you like Tori?" I'm like, "No, we're just playing basketball, man." Like,
it always turns into that, like, "Oh, you guys spend a lot of time together." It's like,
And
yeah, we grew up together.
What was that, Zero?
I said, can't Tim's bloom even on the battlefield?
Yeah, right. See, the problem is I was always oblivious to other people's feelings too. So maybe they did start developing crushes on me, and I was just literally so in they were my space partner, like just like with Shu and Hinako. Like I didn't see it that way, even if they started feeling feelings, and that goes into Hinako and Shu. Like, you know, they clearly have emotions towards each other, but like there's that like barrier that was created, and tearing it down like kind of almost seems impossible or insulting to like either person, because like they have these feelings but you're not reciprocating, but you're reciprocating what you've always been doing, and like it's just a mess. But I really
it's like, but I'm showing my feel like my care for you by doing what we always do. But then there's people like you get your friends who are like, hey, well, if you're not interested, I'm going to be interested. You get your Rinkos and your Sakukos who are 100%. Like, well, I like this boy, so if you're not going to act on it, then...
Yeah, and then jealousy starts brewing, and the weird love triangles come about, and I definitely like resonated with Hinako like a lot, because moving on with the story, she's just struggling with these two parts of her, that inner child. Like there's this doll throughout the game that keeps showing up, and that's just a representation of like her more pure child like self. If I'm reading into it correctly, feel free to share your own interpretation or flat out call me wrong, because there's so much to digest.
Again, there's so many notes and things that I have not gone back to like revisit or analyze. The beauty of this game is it's new. We can like kind of come up with our own definitions right now. It's kind of ambiguous. Even the title of the game, Silent Hill F, the creators did not say what the F is for. They wanted to see what people said it was for. I think that is a perfect encapsulation of what this entire thing is.
Friendship.
You gotta, the F is for friends who do stuff together.
But
there's like theories that it stands for loud, as in like F minor in the music scale, and this and that, and flowers, or who knows? It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't make or break the experience. It might add some depth later on if we do find out, but like overall, everything that was presented was just so good.
You can kind of attribute meanings to things as you find your own answers. I think that's a beautiful part of the game.
Absolutely.
Something I'm curious about with how this game gives you information is that each difficulty of puzzle apparently has like its own unique puzzle. That's not just like
that is a Silent Hill
scaled up or down.
That's a Silent Hill classic. That's like a trait throughout the game. Like
there's the one famous one from what too? Yeah, you have to solve Shakespeare riddles.
If you don't know Shakespeare, you're fucked. Like it's silly.
I got that feeling when it's like, Plum did this and Bamboo did this, and I'm like, okay, well, this one's Bamboo, but like 3 of these are purple. Which one's Plum?
Mhm.
So
Did
I'm
you
not here to
play
stop
on
it.
hard?
So
Did you play on Through the Fog or
I
Into
played
the
on Through the
Fog?
Fog. I clicked every difficulty slider up, and I said, "Fuck it, we ball."
Okay, right on. I did
Is
hard
Into the
for
Fog?
combat and puzzle. So
Into the Fog? That's not unlocked. That's something you don't unlock later.
Nope, it
After.
gave me
nope, you can
through
do
at
it
the
right off the
start.
bat.
Oh, dude, how did I miss that? I would have played Into the Fog. Huh. I did hard. I didn't. Okay.
Yeah, I
Interesting.
Yeah,
stuck to
combat went
hard
to
the whole
hard,
time.
puzzle went to Into the Fog.
Hmm. The more you know. That's just like
Yeah, you were talking about like a plum puzzle. I don't think I'm familiar with that.
was it the fruits? And you kind of have to the slider thing. You like slide the fruit.
It was after you unlock the shrine in the spirit world. There in Through the Fog, it gives you an altar with like 5 offerings and 5 pedestals, 3 in the first row, 2 in the second,
And you
and
could
it gives you
spin
like the
the.
small. It gives you like the small like story of like Plum is popular with everyone, so they're always the center of attention. This one's married to Plum. This one's the leader. This one's married to the leader. And it was just like kind of a fake word puzzle through a lot of allegory stuff. It was actually a really cool puzzle. It stumped me for a while.
That's funny because I think a lot of that does tie into character relations and
Oh
stuff
yeah,
there too,
Yeah,
if I'm hearing you right. So
that's
that's
what I was
that's very
trying to go
interesting.
towards. Was I'm curious how many of these different puzzles, even though they're all in the same spot, will actually like give you different bits of
Mhm.
information for the story.
yeah.
That is kind of why I am intrigued about playing the game again. Maybe not immediately, but I would like to go through and like skim through it. And I have so many ambiguous questions. Like, there's this one stone you examine in the dark world. In that area you're talking about, I believe, it says to whomever happens to read this note. It becomes so easy if you just stop and give up. After all, you are already among the dead. And it's one of those lines early on that makes me think, is this one of those like Jacob's Ladder stories? Is she already dead? Are we dealing with that? Some of the endings lead me to believe that, some don't. So I don't really know. I think the ambiguousness is maybe part of the intentional design, and we're not supposed to know if she's dead or alive.
Yeah, and that could just be a metaphor for like giving up her femininity or her freedom,
Mhm.
like because a lot of this as we move on with the story and stuff, she's being forced into like a marriage she doesn't want, and there's the two sides of herself that are like clashing because she's this fiercely like independent person that wants to just like not become her mother and like all this crazy stuff. So maybe it was just saying like just give up, you're dead, like just accept it, like
Mhm.
that part of you
Yeah,
is
like the
gone.
child part of you is
Yeah,
not going to be
just
able to live
done.
anymore. So, yeah,
Yep.
it's like who knows if it's the marriage part of her talking, and like there's so many takes. Oh my God, it's beautiful.
Yeah. But yeah, as it goes on, you start going through like these trials in the dark world with the fox mask, and that genuinely like unsettled me. When
Mm.
again, big spoilies, but like when she has to go through the three, like the three trials and she like goes through these changes.
Oh, the offerings.
Yeah, when she has to like literally just cut her entire arm off, like I had to get up and just like take a break. And this is coming from I used to look at okay, this is gonna fall flat on a lot of people, but back in the day on Game FAQs on Life, the Universe, and Everything, there was something called the Pains, and it was this set of pictures that were just vile. Like Goatsy, Tub Girl, they don't even they're like level 1. The Pains were just people sticking like AA batteries up their friggin' pee holes, like the most disgusting like
Gotta charge up.
yeah, like bones showing with like just the most disgusting rotting fluids. And I would look at this stuff like while eating and be like, "Ha, that's funny, right?" And just I'd show it to people and watch like laugh at them being disgusted. But like now today, as you get older and start to just like I don't know have perspective or just realize like how fragile life can be, or I don't know what, but like
Empathy to like
yeah,
others' pains, all that stuff,
all the
man.
good
Just a lived
human stuff.
experience.
Yeah, I genuinely her just just sawing off that arm, biting down on that wooden block. I was like getting dizzy. I was like, what is happening to me? Like,
And
I
they
felt like I
don't
was
show
getting the wolf
enough of
arm, the
it.
fox arm. They,
You started to feel the like your arm tingling.
but what
It's
were you
funny
saying?
because
Honestly,
I had surgery on my arm last January, and I was unable to use it for like a month or two, and I had to like relearn and like re gain my muscles in my arm. So it's like, man, Hinako, I know what you're going through. I lost my arm. I've been there. I had to get another arm too.
I'm like you too.
I'm just like her.
I think you had a thought, Zero.
I was gonna say, yeah, the gore in this game is very visceral and uncomfortable.
It
Also, part
is.
of the draining aspect of the whole thing. I do
It
remember back when I was a teenager with unfettered internet access I should not have had, seeing very similar things and being like, "Ah, that's interesting."
yeah.
And now I'm an adult. I'm like, "Oh my god, why the fuck? What the fuck
Like,
was wrong with me?"
you remember that beheading video of that like captured guy in like Iraq or whatever in like 2004 or whatever? Like it was like
I never
going.
let myself watch that, but I know it existed.
I know it
Yeah,
Yes.
exists, but I didn't watch it either. But it's like
I was
probably
watching it
Funky
like
Town, I
I
think,
was
or something.
something. I was watching it like it was a Resident Evil cutscene, and like my girlfriend's crying at the time, and I'm just like, huh, that's weird. Granted, she had brothers overseas. It's like it's just
Mhm.
the empathy
You
thing,
just
like you
didn't
said.
know yet.
Yeah,
Like
Yeah,
or it's like so shocking that like you had to process it and like you're like, wait, what? That can happen to people? What?
and,
It
and I
didn't
think
seem real.
and I think I took pride in not being like affected by it. Like I actively like fought against like those internal emotions because
yeah,
being part
same.
of being part of Lou or forums, you see these people also maybe tough guy it out or they make a meme out of it and then you're just like, yeah, this is my meme. Like I'm gonna gross everyone else out. Like it gave me power in a way. It was
It's
so
something you look
bizarre.
at and then you move on, kind of. But yeah, it is power because it makes people react, and that's what it
Mhm.
comes down to. Like you even now on the internet, people just want people to react, whether it
Yeah,
be anger or whatever. That's gets the
the
engagement,
sadness, the
and
guy buying 500 pizzas for the homeless with that sad music on. Just like, go fuck yourself, dude. Like,
yeah,
stop recording
the
this
people
and
that
just
like throw money at homeless people or whatever, and like all
Mhm.
this bullshit.
Good that you're helping, but like again,
But the
making
way
it
they
into a
do it is,
production, yeah.
yeah, it's a show and it's
And again,
disgusting.
that's the evil nature of it all because he's making money off of it and he can keep doing that. So he is feeding other. I don't know. We're going down a whole different rabbit hole with
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
but
Let's get back onto the horrors of Silent Hill itself,
Mhm.
because there are plenty here to uncover. How about, well, what did we leave off on plot-wise? What was the last thing we brought up?
We were jumping around a little bit, but I was talking about the arm, how she was going through the trials to.
Oh, right, right, right. So she gives up her arm. Like these are
Well,
all
this is all
offerings.
symbolic too.
It's very symbolic. It's like giving yourself to. There's many ways to read this scene. These offerings are when the fox mask guy is leading her through this area where it's like, if you go through this with this, you'll be mine forever. And like, but like he didn't say it like possessively. It was more like you'll belong to me and it'll be like I'm still not wording it right. Okay. It's hard
Yeah.
to word this game when it's so minimal at times. Anyway, she gives
Context
up
for
her arm. It's like
him. Context for
yeah.
that though. Foxman is the person that she's being forced into marriage with. Like we don't find that out
Questionably
until.
forced. It could have been forced, and maybe it was just through a certain perspective that
Well,
it's forced. Maybe the
I was
child
under
part of
the
her thinks it's
I
forced.
was under the impression she was sold from her dad to that family to like pay off debts and stuff. Maybe that was like conspiracy theory posting, or maybe that was an actual like solid plot point once you're doing
I
New
could see
Game
that
Plus
as one
Plus.
take. My takeaway from this part, because we're book clubbing it right now, we don't have the answers. There's a monster that specifically has like a bunch of breasts and it like gives birth to other monsters, and like there's like a crying second version of the monster on the underside who like hides its face whenever it births and stuff. I think that the subtext is that Shu might have gotten Hinako pregnant at one point, and she had to like run away, or like her parents disowned her, and then like Whether the Mask Man is a real person or not, I don't know. Maybe it was this guy that she ended up like meeting who was like, "Yo, your family's fucked up. I'm gonna take you away from there." I don't know. That's the I can't answer these things definitively right now, but
Yeah,
it's hard to say if Fox Mask had good intentions or not.
I do know.
Ending,
Go on, Zero. Go on.
I was gonna say, ending 4 does seem to explain a lot of this, which I really wish I didn't open Wikipedia and see this. I'm not
Yeah.
going to spoil it here necessarily, as I think
No,
the
we're here
discussion
to
is fun.
spoil.
Yeah,
Are
let's
you
go full
talking about?
spoilers.
Are you talking about Kotoyuki Tsuneki?
Yeah,
That's
Kodayuki.
Foxman's real name. Like he was part of like a higher family. Uh, so I think there is more like it's not just kind of metaphorical or
Mhm.
subtextual. I think there was something like deeper with him and how he was kind of like basically taking her into this world she was not quite like
Mhm.
willing to be in 100%. In
Yeah,
the
Right.
you've
go
got
on.
that right, because according to this, like one of his ancestors shows up in that ending and reveals that Kodayuki was forced to wed Hanako to preserve the clan.
So that's one of the things in one of those endings. It's like a fox spirit is saying that, and they're like clearly evil and shit. But it's showing like Fox Mask himself was like kind of not the same intention as those guys. And then after their conflict, they're like, "All right, I'm gonna wait for you here. If you come back to me, Hinako, then it'll be like our love was real and whatever. I'm not gonna
Yeah,
force you into it." So I don't know. It's hard to say if like the legacy of his clan is what was like pressuring them. Maybe it's a representation of Shu. Maybe it's like them as adults and like it's the walking forward into like accepting your adulthood and marriage.
Yeah, gosh, he was another piece of work. Like you find out that he was just drugging Hinako, so she didn't realize like her like
Mm.
effect, like how she actually felt, or he
Yeah,
wanted her to
he
go
was
deep inside. It's
he was
crazy.
effectively like keeping her infantilized too. Like he wanted to keep her as like his partner at the same time, but he's like, I'm doing it to protect you, don't you know? But it's like, wait, but I at that point in time when he said that to her, she was like, "But I didn't need protecting. Like I was going off, and what are you doing?"
Yeah, she's basically like, "Who are you? Like, I know you're my partner, but like, who are you to say and do all that? Like,
Yeah, which is kind of
you're
calling out
violated."
how when like your ambitions and your like these resentments and things inside of you get to a boiling point and they start affecting other people, that's when it got called out. So everyone in this game is a bit twisted and fricked up.
Yeah, her friends
Well,
like, no, go on, Zero. Go on. I want to hear your
I was
take.
gonna make a stupid meme joke. No, don't. I was
No,
gonna go
we
back to
got to
the
hear
pills
it
really
now.
quick. I was gonna back to the pills really quick, and I remember there being like a newspaper clipping you find early on talking about the pills, and I really
Mhm.
wonder if that was actually like a real thing that actually happened in the world, or was that just like something she made up or was fake to mislead you on
Well,
what the pills actually were.
I believe it's ending one where he murders a bunch of people, and then like runs away, and then like another murder happened, and then the detectives are talking, and the guy's like, "We found some pills on the floor," and he's like, "Are they the same ones as the ones that happened over here?" He's like, "Yup, red and white." And so like he was probably on this crazy pill induced like psychosis drug trip, like just doing God knows what. And maybe that's why they were all over the town. Like maybe she was terrorizing the town and like dropped them everywhere because she had this giant box of them and became
or maybe
reliant.
there's over town because it's just something that she sees. She's taking them all the time, and it's like, what's interesting to me relating to that ending with the pills and the wedding and everything. There is a one note you find. It's called Note from Hinako. It's a crumbled up piece of paper. It says, "I'm still alive, but tomorrow I'll make sure you draw your final breath. I don't
Mhm.
care if it's your special day."
Yep.
So that makes me think like, is it not her wedding after all? But like her you end up fighting her in like a bridal veil, but like the monster form of yourself at the end of the first
Yeah.
ending. Like
Faceless.
it's like she's scared of growing into her mother and like being wed and sold off because like the man would be all patriarchal and have like ownership over her. So I don't know if she's just afraid of that concept. If like maybe Rinko ended up with Shu in that ending, and she's like, "I'm gonna get revenge on you." Like, that was in her head. Maybe that's why the papers crumbled up and she threw it away. Maybe this was the actual real note, and she went to murder everyone at that wedding. I
Yeah,
don't know
it,
who
it
this
could
is
be that
referring to.
childhood aspect again, like the two selves talking to each other, kind of
Mm.
saying like, "I'll make sure you draw your last breath," and that could be just like a messed up version of her coming out. And
Yeah, and like a recurring thing from the characters in this game is they write down a lot of their like feelings and wishes. One of the things specifically related to the Fox Mask is if you write your like grudges with someone onto this like little origami fox and you fold it up, then it was said like, oh, you put it on here, then the fox will take care of your grudges for you or something like that. Um, so I don't maybe that's where the whole Fox thing started from. Like I don't there's so many layers here to dig through, man. I
no,
need to put the
it
pieces
is.
together.
You would need like a psychology degree, like you understand Jungian philosophy, like to a
It's very much
high
not surface
level.
level though. Yeah.
Yeah, you have to dig. You have to really feel out the symbol. And I'm sure in 2 years, 3 years, there's going to be like an hour and a half video of some dude who like breaks down everything,
Mm.
and I will
Like
enjoy that.
her offerings are the physical, her arm,
Yes,
the
I wanted to
back
get back to that.
branding.
Yes, like your
Yeah,
brand.
so
She's
she's
branded. She's property now. She's like cattle. Like it's crazy.
yeah, she has to carve off her own face, so she's not recognizable as who she
Loses.
used to be anymore. She has
Yep.
to wear a mask, which
That's
is
a
pretty
big
heavy symbolism on its own, I
That's a
think.
big thing that keeps popping up. Like, is the bride monster is faceless. I think the
Hmm.
steel book case has her faceless. The
Two of the
mask.
bosses are faces. Sakuko's fight, I believe it was Sakuko. When you fought her in like the like lava area, and she keeps
Mhm,
throwing like lava enemies at you and stuff. Her face melted off.
mhm. Yeah, because maybe her identity that Hinako once knew is gone. Like this game is very much about like
Mhm.
know thyself. Like really like have your own be your own person, and it
Mhm.
emphasizes that in like Hinako's like you, for who she is, her personality, her arc is like be yourself. Don't be what everyone wants you to be.
Mhm.
Don't bend over for expectations. Don't let like toxic parents tell you this is when she stands up to her dad after like defending her mom. Oh, that hit. Like
Yeah, jeez.
that really
And
hit.
she like blames her mom. She's like, "Why don't
That
you ever
too.
say anything to him?" And it's like that's totally just ignoring how abuse victims like
Mhm.
get acclimated, how they have to be in a situation, how maybe she's just sucking it up for the good of her daughter. Is like so many things.
So many layers, especially 1960s post-war Japan. Like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
there's so many levels to that, and like as someone who's been around like toxic environments like that, like seen that dynamic to a T, um, that rattled me hard. Again, like as I say, this game like hits me in so many personal spots.
Mm,
Even the addiction. Like I'm 2 years of not smoking weed, and I won't ever say I was like addicted to it because I dropped it cold turkey. Still enjoy everything I enjoyed, but there was that disassociation that you kind of like get used to, and that's what like those pills basically were. Like those pills
mm.
that Shu gave, the trip is basically to like get you more into your subconscious. And I remember like trying to smoke so much weed to like, and then going into like dream states, like trying to go into all these crazy places and do all this shit and lucid dreaming and sleep paralysis and just like smoking weed before work and being a different person and people noticing. And it was just like, yeah, no, it just really hit hard to see these
Mm.
beats play out like one by one by one because it just kept hitting, and I was like, damn, one is solid enough, but to hit like two and three,
Yeah,
I was like, whoa, this game
it
is too
it
much.
just really got how the little things that you to like just tell yourself things are fine, or to get through things, or like when you had to put on a smile and like still be societally put together and everything. And it's like, man, this game is all trauma. It's all about grudges, and getting over things. There is a line in one of the boss fights, I believe it's with Sakuko again, where she's like, Sakuko is like blaming Hinako nonstop, being like, "You're the reason I'm so upset, and like you need to disappear." And then Hinako's like, "Your decision to be happy is your own decision. Like I don't have to have anything to do with that. You can be happy." Like this is your choice.
Yeah.
She's saying that in the middle of the fight. It's like, oh goddamn, okay.
Yep. Yep. And that goes back to like existential philosophy, like John Paul Sutra, how he was in concentration camps, and he emphasized in his like writings, like, if I let them control me, if I let them control my emotions, like I have nothing left. Like I have to find the meaning. Like so much of existentialism is finding the meaning in things like from your own personal view. So like he found peace in a concentration camp, and he said like, you're not taking this away from me. Like if I will find joy, I will find like meaning, I will find truth in this experience. Because if all I saw was like red and sadness and death and all this, it's not being ignorant to what's going on. It's just saying like, this is not my like this is not how I'm going to process this information in this world.
It's not your entirety.
Yeah, I'm not letting you take my freedom to like still live and still feel and still think. Like, and it was just always hit hard because again, even going back to the friend dynamic, I again getting personal, but I had a jealous friend who was like, I thought he was my bestie, but at almost every turn it seemed like he was trying to sabotage me, and there was that jealousy, and he saw like almost like, you just you're so like what was it, Sakuko who thought she was perfect, or I don't know if I'm getting the two mixed up, or if it was, what was the spiteful, was it Rinko who was spiteful?
I think they both kind of were, weren't they?
Yeah, I guess they were too.
I think it was well, Rinko was the one who really wanted to spend time with Shu. I think Sakuko was more like,
he like
Hinako, you
smiles.
need to disappear.
Yeah, she was like smiling every time she was like setting Hinako up for like disaster. But either way, like having friend dynamics like that too, where it's just like, I thought I could trust you, but you're not on my team. And so yeah, again, just a lot of personal hits with this, and it spoke to me in ways that other Silent Hill games really didn't, despite them being great. I can't really like empathize with like James.
It's very much like a shared experience thing. You go on. I heard you.
Well, no, I was pretty much just set with that, where it's just like, you have Heather's struggles, you have James' struggles, you the main character of 4, it's on the tip of my tongue. I can't.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'd have to. Walter,
but
I believe
this was literally a town's struggles. You only have what, 8 characters in the entire game, but it's like it felt like that was the entire town, or that all that mattered to Hinako at least.
Yeah,
coming back to Shenmue.
This is the dark.
We can't all be as dense as Shenmue, though. We don't have any hot dog vendors here.
Imagine if Rio was in Silent Hill. He's just like just walking past the monsters. It's like, can you tell me where the pride monster is? And the thing's just like clawing at his face.
Complete straight face, like, what is that?
He would definitely gamble for some Omamori charms. I will try another.
That's what this game was missing. I need a little hand animation holding the Omori charm and flipping it around. You're right. That would go hard.
That's funny. But yeah, in general, like, this game has a lot of symbolism to it. It has a lot of depth.
We won't be able to touch on all of it. It's about like growing up. Obviously, the insecurities of growing up, the insecurities of femininity in a very patriarchal society, where I mean, a lot of the enemies reflect this. There's one where there's like a doll-like creature where his legs are replaced by blades, and its bio was something like, "Was it always like this, or was it handicapped so that it wouldn't be able to wander far away from its owner, or something like that?" And it's like, okay, I see, like the property of being a wife, and like just all this kind of shit. I know people bring up like the weapons themselves being whatever, like sexist or whatever. No, I don't know about sexist, but like very feminine coded, I guess. Like you get a naginata in the dark world, and apparently that was used by housewives to defend themselves when their husbands were away, stuff like that.
Or that chicken Soul Calibur.
Yeah. That's why, to me, in my mind, naginatas are just powerful because of Soul Calibur. I didn't know that association until this game.
Yeah, a lot of that was floating around. Cool. Was that Zero?
I said near. That was cool. I'm just thinking about how the first weapon you get's a steel pipe, and I'm like, how's that?
That's just pure Silent Hill.
No. Yeah, it's just Silent Hill. I was like, keep trying to tie it back to. I'm like, how do we?
There's like people talking about how like the weapons are like specifically feminine coded, and like
I think in the Fox area, like in the dream world, I think they're more that. But in the real world, it's more just like, here's your standard. They're all standard Silent Hill weapons. You have a giant axe. You got
a sledgehammer.
The corn, the fields. That field area was just perfect. With the scarecrows and the weird positions they're in, and you're just kind of like,
and then you hear skittering in the distance, and you look, and then you see there's a scarecrow in the distance. You turn your camera, and then you hear skittering again. Like, what's going on?
It was done so well, like everything.
Yeah, there were a lot of times after that where I was like, I don't think the game is messing with the players enough. But then it starts messing with you. It's like, okay, you're in this dark world area, and you go through a door, and suddenly, like, the map, you're not quite in the spot you thought you were going to go. The map is slightly, or like you're repeating an area you used to be in. It's like, wait, things are slightly off. What's going on?
Yeah,
that's enough.
When you're getting the 3 crests, it's kind of near the end of the game, and you have to like put up the calendar to turn the light on for the door. That was just like, that should be more Silent Hill. That was like the apartment complex, like from 2, and just like.
But none of it felt like redundant.
No,
it didn't
not
like,
at all.
You're just retreading Silent Hill 2. It was very refreshing and well done.
Yeah, it's like they made their own dessert out of similar ingredients, but it stands on its own. But the jarring nature of that area, with the way like it kind of loops. If you go through the 3rd door, it sends you back to the 1st, and you just kind of
so cool, man.
Go around. It was so fun to play. Like, the atmosphere was perfect. It was kind of just what I needed for this spooky month, because nothing beats a new Silent Hill or a new Resident Evil. Really excited for Requiem.
When you get a piece of writing that can actually like competently dig into psyches and like motivations and stuff like that, man, it just hits. I am all about the psych introspections and like, let's sit you down on this couch, see what's really bugging you. So you're jealous of this shoe guy, are you? Like, digging in and finding out what's really going on with these guys.
Yeah, and I think
you really do find out what is wrong with like every one of these characters that has like these grudges and problems. So
yeah, and it speaks to me like at a good point in my life. I think if this game came out when I was like, I don't know, in my early 20s, I would be oblivious to a lot of like the language. Like when Benji gave me a book on borderline personality disorder, and I read through it like it was a Bible, it gave me context. And like, once you have a name for something and a shape for something, you can identify it then. If it's this nebulous
making
concept,
a mandala in your head.
Yeah, pretty much. But like, when it's a nebulous concept, you can live through the fog and never really like understand what it's saying. But once someone like sits you down and contextualizes it and gives it a name and gives it a shape and says like this is what this is, you start seeing the red flags, for lack of a better
Yeah.
term, in all.
Again, I bring this up a lot, but a lot of like understanding comes from building blocks and foundations. And once you see the foundations that like build these sentences that become concepts or like
Yeah.
whatever, then you can so much better understand and like interact with them on a new level.
Yeah, it's almost like the Mad Libs, but instead of using silly words, you're just putting your life experiences into those blank
Yeah.
areas, and it just fills it out, and you're just like, oh, okay,
Yeah, like
wow,
even like us growing up with like these female friends where who we don't put any thought into like gender or anything. It's like that gives us context into some of Hinako's feelings, and maybe we got more out of this than like the typical guy would have. I don't know. I only know my
possibly.
experience.
Yeah, and our experience is not universal because I know plenty of people that I grew up that didn't have that. They were just on that other side of the spectrum, just farting and blowing stuff up and doing
Melting
whatever.
army men with magnifying
Yeah,
glasses, and
pretty much.
sure I did that, but like
Yeah,
there
so
was a
it,
balance.
it came at a perfect time where like so much of what I'm unpacking now, in the last like few years that relates to my youth and early 20s and early adulthood, uh, it came at a really good time because I got so much out of it, that I might not have gotten if I was a little bit younger and didn't have those
Yeah.
flags
Like
raised.
all of these characters are middle school aged, I guess. Maybe the beginning of high school. I don't know their exact ages to even say. But I don't think that it's like even them literally being these ages. Like them reflect again, there's like the wedding as a core theme and concept, and it's like they're reflecting on their childhood selves, so they're kind of like I think that's the genius part of the game. They never show the adult selves, but it's like clearly inferred that like this is kind of like a reminiscence, and they're not really kids, but it's like these are where their personalities and grudges stemmed from, and like the jealousy and whatever, and like the fears, and this was their baseline. This like there's two people. They keep the child part of them inside of them, and then there's like what they were forced to grow up into. Like some
Mhm.
of them turned into like a shrine maiden or like whatever, or like Shu goes on to be a part of his like family Suneko family heir. Like there's a
The
note you
medicine
find later on.
people,
Yeah, yeah, like the medicine people, and like they have like a high societal standing and stuff like that.
they were pumping that whole town with drugs.
Oh yeah.
I think actually, yeah, I think that does bring back the red pill thing. I think I do remember reading something about how like I could be making that up though, but I feel
Um,
like I do remember reading something about how like they were kind of giving this drug out to like a lot of people,
so
in the
I found
town.
one of my screenshots of a note. I wish I took a screenshot of both pages, but it's a note of the clinical trial, and it says, "Was this what the tales meant when they said the drug allows you to speak with your inner self? I've
Mhm.
heard that taking vitamin B6 makes it easier to remember dreams. However, I'm sure its effectiveness depends on factors like dosage and body
This was
composition.
my
At any
life.
rate, this has been a letdown so far."
This was my life for a few years. I can't express how much this game like speaks to me. Like
Yeah, like you're trying to find like this like inner eye, like
I
higher
literally
plateau through usage and
I
stuff.
literally bought something called Kalia Zichitich. Hold on, I don't know how to pronounce it. It's called Kalia Zakatachichi. I'm butchering that horrible, but it's like
Gesundheit.
it's a thank you. It's a dream herb where it's like from South America. It's considered one of the most bitter extracts like on the planet. It's just super, super, super bitter. You take 2 drops of that, and then you go to sleep, and your dreams are just like 4K HD, like 60 FPS. Like it was insane. And there was just like a time where I was just like doing that, and then you would again you would take B6, you would take these things to remember too. Like so again, that all just
Mhm.
spoke to me. Reading about the chrysanthemum note, as I just put out hundreds of them earlier in the day, I was just like, man, this just keeps hitting nonstop.
Yeah, that the whole pill thing is very interesting. Apparently, it also links back to like the entire series. But yeah, I remember the early newspaper clippings saying like it was good for cluster headaches. They're happening all over town, so they were prescribing this like candy, and they said there was a hallucinogenic side effect. Oh
Yeah,
yeah, don't
so I
worry
think
about that. It's better we do
this
that
might have
than
been
deal
the
with the
root.
headaches.
This might have been the what?
This might have been the root of like the cultism and like the hallucinatory drug use of the Silent Hill series. I don't know when the first games in the chronological series take place. I usually don't pay attention to like overarching like canon lore of like franchises where it's like 10 games long. I don't really care at that point. I'm more into the themes and stuff.
Yeah,
But
especially
it
when
is
they're
interesting if this is like the start of like, oh, this is the 1960s. This is where the hallucinatory stuff comes from. It's like all because of a shoe and like these flowers. That would be cool.
yeah, that would be interesting. Uh, yeah, I going back to like the lore and stuff. Yeah, I tend to not like get too like weighed down by that because the original games they never had that intent. Like it's like the
And they're
Zelda
written by other
history.
people. It's
Yeah,
like it's not the same teams. Who cares, guys?
yeah.
It's like a shared
If you didn't
themes,
make the
whatever.
game with that intent, don't pretend that you're gonna connect it. Like yeah, that's why the Zelda like there's like an 800-page encyclopedia about like the timeline and stuff that Nintendo sold, and they didn't have any of that in mind. Like they're just making stuff up. It's silly. It's dumb. I don't know. I could live without hardcore like lore stuff like that. But again, it is nice to
Absolutely.
see. It is nice to see if they do link it somehow.
Yeah,
But it's
if
not
it
a
comes
make or
together
break.
naturally, awesome. If it's
But
just like a little background thing. Anyway, go on. Sorry.
no, I was just gonna say. But in general, we're going a little long. I don't want to go too long. It's crazy because I feel like we barely scratched the surface.
There's
It's just
so much,
it's
man. You could like have an entire hour on each of these notes. I was
Right.
gonna bring up another one, but it might lead to like a whole half-hour thing, so I might hold off on this. But
we'll bring it up and we'll see where it goes. But we'll definitely try and have a hard cut because
yeah, okay. So this is just a quick thing. It's going back to when I was talking about like maybe Hinako got pregnant and like had to be run out. There's a housemaid's note. It says, "And yet the young heir cruelly and wantonly cast her aside. Likely he simply did not want his prospective marriage to be ruined. So the Tsunekis kicked Sachi out and drove her to some far-off place where they could forget her existence, despite the piece of the family she carried with her. People say that she was fighting back tears so hard that blood began to trickle from her eyes. And if you'll recall, there was a single blood drip from the fox mask that Hinako wears that would come down her face. So I'm thinking that she might have been the one who was impregnated and cast off from the family because Shu's family is so like influential. They're like, no, you can't have this.
yeah, I could see that. I could definitely could see that, and I think I do remember reading something close to that. But again, this could be so many people's interpretations based on everything. But yeah, no, I think that's a good little poll, a good little
Yeah,
point.
the blood trickling from the eye. I'm like, that can't be unintentional.
Yeah, cast aside by her partner as not, just to save face, and that's something she like fought hard her whole life to like not
Mhm.
conform to those things, and then she was cast aside by them by someone she trusted and thought was kind of on the same page as her, and
Yeah.
yeah, she went through the ringer, but she was a little crazy though. She had to chill out, girl. Relax. It'll be okay. Just run it off. Pull a Forrest Gump. You'll be all right.
Do a lap.
Right? Do some hurdles. You'll be all right.
A lap around the hill.
One thing though, going back to the fox masks and stuff like that, and like the whole occult themes and family uh like lore and stuff. I was reading the visual novel Tales of Toyotoki, and there is kind of like a similar thread where there's these like high society people on an island, and they're basically like hiding this like death god by doing marriage stuff, and there's this whole thing. But it, and there were other stuff in other Japanese media that I do remember reading that was again followed a similar thread. So I do wonder if this is like genuinely just like a thing in really isolated Japanese, like,
Hmm.
you know, mountains deep in the mountains where they are still trying to like keep this whatever at bay by adhering to certain marriage ceremonies. And yeah, like I thought it was
Yeah,
cool.
like shrine maidens, torii gates were a big visual indicator in this game. One of the child drawings you can find in one of the classrooms on the desk has like the five main characters standing together holding hands, and two of their heads are blotted out with torii gates above them. I don't know exactly, and that's symbolizing like they are actually dead. There's a lot of talk in this game where like characters are kind of hinting like, oh yeah, don't it's too late for Hinako. She's already dead. And like you overhear characters talking like that. It's like, what are they talking about? It's like, are they talking for real? Is this really her like on her deathbed hearing these characters? Like, what is this?
Yeah, I mean, and when she kills her friends in the dark world, that could
Mm,
just be like her processing, like her murdering them.
yeah.
Like
It was hard to tell because the game progresses more and more of her like giving away her like innocence and whatever. Your combat evolves from this. You become like you get a fox arm, so it's like, oh yeah, shit, yeah, we're gonna become one of these like one-armed action
werehog.
games. We're God Hand, we're Devil May Cry 5 and 4, we're endless, we're Sekiro, like fuck
Gotta
yeah,
miss
we're
God
going one
Hand.
arm mode.
Yeah, what was that one Sonic game? That's all I could think of the whole time I was using that
Sonic
that fox
Unleashed.
arm. Yeah, Sonic Unleashed. I was the werehog. I was
Oh,
going
I was hoping she
crazy.
was going full werehog. That'd be great. Start rolling around.
That would be wild if she did get all consumed by it and you just become this weird beast near the end of it. But it was such a crazy turn just to see her just like be so disfigured by the end of the game that
Well,
she
the
was.
full thing did happen. The like ghostly wedding
Yeah,
maiden
that's
is
true.
the
That
full
is true.
form thing. It
Yeah,
grabs her a few times with like the wolf arm and stuff. Like it's
yep,
like
you're
this
right.
big
You are
hulking
right.
thing.
I
So
want to play as that
this is
though.
like her.
What a mess shoe up with an 8 foot wedding veil demon creature.
Right.
Remember the end of Shadow of the Colossus when you turn into Dormant or whatever and like beat the like whole army coming to get you's ass. We need that
Hell
section in
yeah.
Silent Hill F.
Destroys the whole town. Everyone comes at her. But yeah,
It's
no.
kind of like one of those things that like all the boss fights are like, all right, I'm going wolf mode. I'm gonna get you guys back. You like Hinako took in so much abuse from these people, like being mad and resentful at her, like jealous of her, and it's like, the fuck did I ever do? It's like that 50 Cent gif, like, fucking me, fucking mean, fuck me for, or whatever you said.
What do you say fuck me for?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And it's like her just like getting her revenge tour and she's going girl boss mode. And like the more I played, the more I was like getting in. It was weird. I was getting into that like revenge side of her and like it
You
felt
just wanted to be
good to get more
yourself.
powerful.
Like,
Yeah, she just wants
like,
independence.
right? Her biggest crime was being Hinako and not
Yeah.
being
And she had to teach everyone else to be themselves. She's like, chill, you can be yourself and you can be happy and
like,
accepting.
stand
Yes,
up
all
for
that
yourself,
Jungian stuff.
mom.
Yeah.
Like, be your own person. You're not his property. And then the dad beats the wife because she like
Mhm.
the mom tells Hinako just leave, and you know he's beating the mom like for what Hinako did. Like she's
Yeah.
taking.
And like he
Oh
throws a knife at her and shit.
yeah, that was crazy too. But yeah, I don't know. I could gush about this game all day, all night. It resonated with me deeply, more
It's
than many
very
many
tasteful.
games. Yeah, it does justice to the Silent Hill series. Like I'm glad Konami is not just relegating this series to pachinko machines or
And it's
mobile
not just
games.
remember these guys. And like when I
Mhm.
first saw the first enemies were like doll things, I was like, all right, I get it. Like you get your
The
creepy
nurses
dolls.
are
Like it
back.
literally is like a proper enemy themology for this character. It ended up being something that was appropriate, and it
Yep.
was really good.
Yeah. But again, just like Silent Hill and 3 and like all those enemies have meaning. They have deep meaning. It's even shattered memories.
I did want to give a shout out to just one enemy. Well, not an enemy. I guess it's a boss. It's like the personification of her dad, like the big blob thing with the knife. It's called
Mhm.
Ara Abare, which apparently means like, uh, well, such violence or something like
Yeah.
that. I thought that was funny.
Nice little play on words. I wonder if the Japanese kind of there's some weird little language thing that kind of has
I'm
like
s- I'm
a
sure there's
deeper
so much
meaning.
language and cultural stuff that just passed over me.
Yeah, someone did mention how one of the puzzles was like really, really hard until they like switched it to Japanese, like not
Mm.
like voiced Japanese, but like they could read Japanese or something, and they switched it to that. And like,
I had that kind of inkling in the back of my head where I was like, this seems pretty long-winded, and it seems like it would make more sense in like hiragana or something like
mhm,
that, where
yeah,
it's like condensed and like more.
succinct,
It
basically.
didn't translate quite. Uh, well.
Yeah, no, I could see that because there were some puzzles where I was just like, all right, I'll brute force it. It
Yeah,
was ambiguous. Like, I get a puzzle being ambiguous because you have to figure it out, but like when the story is so ambiguous and you have like 15 different like choices, I'm only left with brute force. Like I could use some inference, but then you don't. How do you know if that inference is correct? Like you could be basing your entire hypothesis on the wrong thing, so then you're kind of
yeah.
already off on the wrong foot. So it was a little fun puzzles
I
though.
mean,
I enjoyed
there's
them.
just endless stuff to think about between the puzzles. We barely even talked about Hinako's sister Junko or like the mask she's wearing and like
Yeah,
what that could mean and like there's
because
so
she
much
went
to
off to
dissect.
be her own. She was
Yeah,
got married and
she wore her
became.
own mask. Yeah,
Yep,
made her own offerings.
and she's
Jun-
faceless in the journal. Sorry, go on,
Yeah,
Zero.
and I was gonna say Junko also got sold off for Dad's debt. Apparently,
That makes sense.
was also her story. So like she was more
there's a
just
lot of
willing to
that.
go along to help with the family, whereas Hinako just wanted to keep her independence
Uh,
and figured
and
that
I
it was a
think
card for
Junko
her
like
taking the
she
easier path of least resistance.
mm, yeah, that's true. It's kind of like Hinako had to choose that fork in the road there, either to follow Junko's footsteps, but then like Junko later is like, "Hey, I'm gonna help you. Like, you're not still carrying that thing with you, are you?" And like,
Yeah,
I'm
she
pretty
stopped her
sure
from taking
Hinako
the
got pregnant.
pills. Like she starts actually being a sister, like randomly, like at like near
Yeah,
the
yeah,
end after being this
but then she's like,
ominous figure.
if you don't stop this, I'll kill you myself," type thing.
Mhm.
But it's like, okay, that's what a sister would say too. That's not
Tough
even
love,
Silent Hill.
baby, tough love. But yeah, I think that's a good place to close the book on Silent Hill F for now, unless we have any final thoughts, anything we want to take out of the oven before it gets burned.
Just one small thing I saw while I was googling Arabare was apparently on the official Instagram of Silent Hill Brazil. It says a grotesque, violent entity shrouded in mystery, something that must not be awakened, but it's already too late. And all I can think of is that "Don't Wake Daddy" board game.
Yeah,
There
we used to
he
play
is.
that in real life. We called it sneak a snack. We were like
Right?
fat little like 8-year-olds being up way too late because Cartoon Network first became a thing, and we would just like
And you
sneak
know
into
where
the
all the creaky
kitchen.
floorboards are.
Like, don't wake daddy. We're playing sneak a snack. But yeah,
He's gonna get the knife.
that is a good bow at the end of all of that.
Yeah. If you have not played this game and you're listening, go play this shit.
Yeah, I don't know
It's
why you just spoiled
more
yourself.
layers than an onion.
What you do
Listen,
It
is
doesn't
we
play
even
gave
the
it a
matter if
lot
you
of
game.
spoil it.
spoilers,
Yeah,
but like this is
you gotta
all
hit
wrapped in
spoilers.
like 4 layers. You're not gonna know what the hell's going on.
Yeah, if anything, it should entice you to play it because you're gonna be like, wait, how? Wait, what? She does this, and wait, where? That's at least how I handle spoilers. But that is a conversation for another day. This was Silent Hill F, and we will see you next time with another little spooky game for spooky month. Thank you for listening.
Silent Hill F for respects for this game.
Put some F in
Cut
the
that out.
chat.
Don't leave that in.
No, we're
Sounds
keeping
left in the
that.
chat.